Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today, I have a really cool review for you from the brand Forzo. They're a newer brand out there in the watch world, and also a newer brand to the channel, but they're actually a sub-brand of a very popular strap carrier and even new watchmaker in WatchGecko. So Forzo are a proudly British company that follow in the nation's pioneering tradition of more motorsport brilliance, which has bred world-class championship teams throughout history. Now, in terms of this type of watch, you can call it a vintage automotive themed chronograph. Some key common characteristics in design language when you're seeing something within this genre, of course, is vibrant color palettes, chunky case designs, and most popularly, typically a barrel-shaped type of silhouette. But another thing that you could see this fall under is these, these great Seiko instruments and Meca Quartz boom in micro brands, most notably Autodromo, Belmodo, Stratton, and these guys will charge somewhere between upwards of $500 and $700 for really well-spec'd, well-done chronographs with this great Meca Quartz movement. Now, this particular model is the EnduraTimer chronograph, and this is the vintage Panda dial. And it's really the perfect embodiment of their passion for both motorsports and watches, and is perfectly displayed in a refined package. You can get this for $536 direct, and I have to say, guys, the fit and finish on this thing is mind-boggling. I'm blown away, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you guys. A big shout out to Forzo for reaching out and sending this into the channel for me to take a closer look. I'm a big sucker for Meca Quartz, but in terms of the fit and finish on here, they're really doing something special. And then you have it in a really amazing package at 40 millimeters in diameter and only a 12.5 millimeter thickness there. There's a lot of good things to enjoy, and the level of fit and finish, again, I'm gonna have to show you guys. So with that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. All right, so a nice little, a glimpse into the packaging that came with it. You get your little wipe here, and then you get a really cool little keychain because, hey, this is motorsports inspired, so you might have car keys. So I thought that was very thoughtful, and I figured I'd share it with you. But check this out, guys. Just look at this sapphire crystal and the level of, oh my gosh, the clarity and the execution on just the anti-reflective coating, guys. On just the raised chamfered edge on this sapphire. Look at the dial, the grain. Look at the finish on those applied indices, the brushing. Look at the transition between brushed and polished on the case. My goodness. I'm going to go ahead and push this off, but I'm going to need this because this thing is so well finished that, my little sweaty fingertips are going to leave a lot of marks throughout the video. So quick to wipe. Look at the brilliance in this polishing and the brushing, the uniformity of the light as it plays off of that brush, guys. If you're looking for something, if you're hey, it's a thin chronograph, and it does have a nice mechanical sweep, and guess what? Boom. If you want to learn more about Meca Quartz movements in terms of Seiko's Meca Quartz, this is the VK63, which has quartz timing, but a mechanical chronograph action. So the engagement is much nicer because it's actually using mechanical pieces. It has 1/5 of a second interval timer sweep. It has a multi-headed lever which disengages, which makes that snap back or instant zero versus its sweeping back, as you might be used to in a quartz chronograph. And the chrono mechanism consists of over 20 individual parts, similar to a traditional mechanical chronograph gear train. So you're getting, it's not just trying to fool you into being mechanical. It actually, these aren't just buttons. They're pushers, mechanical pushers that are engaging and re-engaging and disengaging, and it's just an actual mechanical feel. So they're going to feel a lot better than when you're smushing buttons on most Quartz chronographs. So let's just get that out of the way. Guys, again, the fit and finish is pretty mind-boggling here. Back to those dimensions, 40 millimeters in diameter, only 12.5 millimeters thick, 47.1 millimeters lug to lug, stainless steel, brushed and polished, beautiful sapphire, wonderful. Oh my gosh, look at this. They just hit the nail on the head in terms of capturing that 70s era, you know, vintage automotive motorsports theme. And I have to give them credit, because this is the type of watch that I spent a lot of time looking for within my collecting journey, and very cool to see it in such an affordable package, right around 500 bucks, guys. Very, very cool. So you're getting, of course, those applied indices, which are just, look at these aren't just simple batons, guys. They are bricks that have multiple finishes. You're getting a nice faceted edge, but you're also getting the nice vertical brush across the top. You're getting a circular cutout for the date window. Yes, it's in a bit of an awkward spot, but it's well integrated and it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It flows with the case, it flows with the design, it flows with everything. Now the water resistance on here, 100 meters of water resistance, which is great because the crown is a screw down crown and it's signed. They're doing the things you like. You got drilled lugs. Come on. What else? Oh, screw in links, fully articulated bracelet, milled folding section on the clasp. Yes, this piece is stamped, but you are getting a lot of slimness there. And it is finely contoured, and it also does have high polished bevels that transition very nicely, just like they transition very nicely. Look at how dark and deep that luster is on that high polished bevel. That is just completely just, it's like a freaking laser in terms of that finish. Again, on a watch that's under $1,000. It's about half that, which for me is great. 100 meters of water resistance, 20 millimeter lugs, drilled lugs at that. You're getting a nice 3-link bracelet, solid links and end links, screw-in connectors, double locking folding clasp that tapers down to 16 millimeters. So very, very classy. Let's actually get this piece on wrist and see how it wears. All right, guys, as you can see on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, this thing just looks gorgeous. And yeah, my wrist is actually, because I've started wearing my watch a little bit more above the wrist bone instead of on it or below it, it's probably, you know, somewhere in between 7 1/4 and 7 1/2. But this thing looks gorgeous. I mean, even when you get up close, guys, there's lens distortion. It makes the watch head seem a little bit more oversized. But you take it away from the lens there and you can see this thing wears fantastic. Good luck finding a mechanical chronograph that's going to wear this flat. Come on, look at that. Look at that brush with the high contrast on the polish. You're getting a female end link, which isn't extending the case out. There's not a lot of gap on that female end either, so it just flows really nicely. And then again, just oozes. Oh my gosh. I mean, it'd be nice if they had this in mechanical, but yeah, you'd add like $1,000 to the cost, unless, you know, maybe they went with like a Chinese mechanical movement inside. But yeah, I'd be up for it, because I'm very impressed with, again, the fit and finish. And I have some really nice, fun little Meca Quartz, you know, Seikos and stuff like that, and that I really enjoy and cherish. And I've handled some really amazing pieces in terms of micro brands, but man, this one, it hits such a sweet spot, guys. Look at that. Look at how it lays. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead, get it off wrist, get some Lume shots, low light transition, and closing thoughts. All right, let's go ahead and hit the lights here. Okay, so not a lot of Lume, but the nice thing is, since it's a chronograph, when you're not running it, you do have orientation for 12 o'clock, which means you can tell what time it is in the dark pretty easily. But what I like to do outside of just get some Lume shots is work in some low light transition, because you're not always going to be out in the middle of a field enjoying direct sunlight. A lot of times you're going to find yourself coming in and out of a building, walking underneath overhangs, the shade of a tree, or maybe just spending time in your favorite automobile. So it is nice to see how a watch will render in less than optimal lighting, to include some harsh, very high contrast lighting, which would typically expose any type of corners cut in the way of the finishing. But you can see, look at that polish. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of oils and whatnot, but look at the way the brushing, the uniformity of that brush, where the light just glides over it, catches the bevel on the bezel or the flat edge on it really nicely, and then you do get the nice little sunray effect on those subdials. Very, very nice, guys, and still quite legible even in mixed lighting conditions. And then of course you get an idea of how these colors render. My goodness, that is a handsome timepiece. So guys, to summarize, on the wrist wears really perfectly. Great vintage racing aesthetic. You know, very addictive chrono action. I've had to resist just clicking with that and annoying everybody in the video. It's almost too nicely executed, honestly. I would love to see a fully mechanical variant of this watch. It's that well done. I could say if they could fit a mechanical movement in here, I'd be willing to pay $1,000 or more for this form factor in terms of the case and bracelet and the fit and finish. It's up there. It's very, very well done. Yeah, again, it's almost too nice to have that Meca Quartz movement inside of it. Model variants, guys, definitely check their site for availability, but there's at least like 4 other options. They're also available on 5-link Jubilee variations. This 3-link, though, for me, kind of it hits a real sweet spot in terms of playing off of the case really nicely and being vintage without, I think, trying as hard as something like a 5-link Jubilee. Now, in terms of comparable models, there's many, many micro brands. You know, we've already mentioned a couple of them with VK powered automotive themed chronographs. No discredit to them whatsoever, but this just feels, I'd say, pretty perfectly dialed in and executed, guys. There's not much that I would think to ask to change. So this is just really yeah, dialed in is probably the right word for it. Bottom line, it's a lot of fun in an extremely stylish and affordable package, and I'm glad I got to share it with you guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.